Yo people, welcome back to another video. Now, I've spoken a lot about Cobra Kai on the channel, but I've tried to avoid the new Karate Kid stuff, mostly because I thought it would kind of get in the way, and also I thought they'd be doing a lot more Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 3 promo before the new film came out, since it releases first, but I guess not. I guess the trailer is here, and it's time to give my opinion. So before I actually watched the trailer, I was thinking this might be a money grab. Hopefully they don't ruin stuff with Cobra Kai, with the original films, all of that stuff. But after watching the trailer, I think so far so good. The trailer for me, it was cool, it felt very urban, and I think that the movie will try to add those modern elements in order to connect more with the present day audience and of course the youth. One thing I'd like them to avoid is the whole bullying thing, since we've already seen that in the original Karate Kid and in Cobra Kai as well. I'd like a fresh approach, or something along the lines of Julie Pierce's Karate Kid film, where it was more of a spiritual perspective as well as fighting. I've heard apparently this movie takes place 3 years after Cobra Kai, so that will also be interesting to see. Now, I don't want to speak about Mr. Miyagi too much because I had a whole separate video theorizing his secrets, which I think we'll see some of in Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 3, but to give you a small theory which the trailer has kind of confirmed, is that Mr. Miyagi knew Kung Fu. That's the only connection I can grab between Miyagi and Mr. Han, and it also would explain why Miyagi kept the Chinese coins in his box. Mr. Miyagi surely at some point was in China, and I'll leave the rest for the theory video. But anyways, one thing this trailer mentioned which was important for me was that Mr. Han's connection with Lee is basically the same as Daniel and Mr. Miyagi's. I'm glad that he's going to be a new character, not associated to any prestige bloodlines unless they're hiding it for the movie. We can see that it looks like Lee was Mr. Han's first student out of the ones in his new dojo, since he was already at a more advanced stage compared to the other students who had just begun doing the whole jacket off, jacket on training. I think the trailer did a good job as well of not spoiling anything, not showing us any narratives or anything in particular, or showing us the best action sequences, stuff like that. There's still so many unanswered questions, which I assume some will be answered in Cobra Kai in the final part, as well as in the film. Questions such as, what's the narrative of the film? Why did Daniel accept to go to New York with Mr. Han? Obviously it's for training, but what in particular? There's clearly a tournament taking place, but what's the importance of this tournament? This is clearly some bigger than the bullies being the final boss of the tournament. We even hear Lee say, I'm doing this for all of us, whatever it takes. They're making it seem as if this tournament is on the Sekai Taikai levels of importance, because for them to fly out from China to America, this has to be some crazy thing. One thing I hope for is some sort of cameo from Johnny Lawrence or some of the Cobra Kai characters. I can imagine Jackie Chan pulling up to Johnny's dojo and asking for Daniel, and in the background we see Robbie training the class. Maybe Bert, Anthony LaRusso and Kenny are there, since this is 3 years into the future. That would mean those 3 characters would be around 18 years old, since they are the youngest from the Cobra Kai characters. But yeah, I also have some Cobra Kai Part 3 theory videos, links in the description if you want to go check that out to get more context on what I'm talking about. I also wouldn't mind the Jaden Smith cameo, since he was technically Mr. Han's first student. I think the movie would lose points if we get absolutely nothing from Jaden Smith, not even a cameo or an update of what happened to him after the movies. One thing that it looks like is happening is that Lee, the new Karate Kid, will already have learned Kung Fu from Mr. Han, and now I assume that Mr. Han wants Lee to learn karate, but not just any karate, the defensive Miyagi-Do style in particular. We know that karate gets its influences from Kung Fu, so now they're trying to tie both ends and unite them under one tree, as they said in the trailer, but most importantly under one fighter, which I believe Mr. Miyagi was already someone that had accomplished this, and now Lee will be the next one to do so. Also, quick side note or small detail, whatever you want to call it. In terms of the music, it reminded me of that drum technique thing, the little drum that Mr. Miyagi used in Karate Kid 2. I assume that's what they were paying tribute to. If not, just let me know that I'm wrong in the comments. But that's what it kind of reminded me of. I thought it was pretty cool the way it sped up along the trailer and then it just ends. But yeah, I think Sony and this franchise is banking on Lee to be the new face of the franchise, and they're making sure the original Karate Kid passes on the torch and gives his blessings to this new character. In Sony's mind, if this film is a success, then they move on to the next movie and they'll probably have to do a trilogy, and that's probably what they have in mind. Also, I think they'll want to make sure they have a character that A, the actor can do his own stunts, which he can, and B, has longevity, and maybe we get to see some time jumps in between, which are, of course, for Daniel LaRusso's, we didn't really get a time jump. All 3 films were within a year or so. So it'll be cool to grow kind of with this new Karate Kid. And on top of that, if we're going to keep growing with this Karate Kid, I think Sony and the franchise will want to make sure that Lee is the most powerful Karate Kid yet. And it will be hard to argue considering he will know karate and kung fu by the end of this film. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the trailer down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed. Sub to the channel if you haven't already, as we close in on 900 subscribers. All the support is massively appreciated. I also have Cobra Kai content in the description below if you wish to check that out. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your day.